Órale, Cholo Trucker Mas movies and shows. Oh my goodness, man. All right, so we were down to the final four on this episode, which cut it down to the final three. So let's get into it. All right, man, because it's getting so damn good. It really is. All right, so you had the final four in Egypt, Hannah, Wit, and Kyle. Um, the challenge was the table side, and Kyle definitely won that. And I'm just gonna say this: Kyle has really just blown up. To me now, he's the favorite. Kyle by far to me is the favorite to win it all. He is really he's having fun. Like it's like not even a competition to him. Like he's having fun. He killed it in the tableside challenge. We'll get to the dinner service in a bit, but Kyle to me now is the favorite above all, man. Like I was just like, wow, I'm blown away with the confidence. Everything he's finding it like it's just fun for him. Doesn't look like work, doesn't look like a challenge, doesn't look like anything. Just like, hey, he's just having a good time. But the tableside challenge, I was a little concerned with Egypt because Egypt was like, man, I've never done this before. I've never done tableside. And I could kind of see the challenge in it, right? You're not in your own zone like you would be like in your kitchen, just kind of sticking to your own and dealing with other chefs. It's like you're dealing with the customer right there, right in front of you. They're talking to you, you're talking to them. Should you talk? Should you not talk? Can you talk too much? Where does the conversation go? Do you keep it with nothing but culinary arts? Do you keep it with nothing but cooking? Do you get a little personal? Do you make some jokes? It's like you kind of sell yourself right there because they're cooking to the people at the Fox Wood Resort, right? So it's like, okay, I'm gonna be working here. So it's just like Egypt said, it's almost kind of like a job interview in a way, right? Because that's where you're gonna be. That's where you're gonna be working at. So it's like, okay, where do I want to take the conversation? And I don't want to talk too much, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? Yes, they're judging you on the food. At the same time, they're also judging you. So that table side service, man, it can make and break you. But moving on to the dinner service. So since we're down to the last four, there's the part where, or there's a service where everybody gets a shot at the pass. Everybody gets a chance to be Chef Ramsay. Everybody gets a chance to call everybody donkeys and all that stuff, right? Gets to cuss everyone out for not doing a good job. Um, Egypt was, I think he was the first one up. I'm not going to go into any particular order because I kind of forgot what order it went up. But as everybody knows, if you guys have watched Hell's Kitchen before, they go ahead and they sabotage. Now, I remember I've seen every single season of Hell's Kitchen from the very first season, and that is how it started because the competitor themselves, I forgot his name, but he was the one to win the very first Hell's Kitchen. On purpose, he sabotaged his opponent. Chef Ramsay didn't tell him to do it. It's not like Chef Ramsay said, like, hey, sabotage, put this instead of that. No, he did it on his own. He sabotaged him on his own. He made him look like a fool. And I guess that gave Chef Ramsay the idea of like, hey, that's a good idea. Because every season after that, that's what Chef Ramsay started doing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna throw a couple of curveballs to see if they catch it. So now what happens is that they sabotage a couple of things. They try to throw you off, make sure nothing gets past you, and it could be from anything. It could just be from the type of meat, the type of protein, the seasoning. Even Marino when he writes up a ticket and comes and gives it to you, you gotta read the ticket out to your chefs. He could write the wrong thing. He could write something short. He could write something that's not on the menu that night. So, it's like it's crazy, man. At the same time, everything's going, everything's moving, everything's firing on all cylinders. So you gotta be on point, man. So Egypt, he missed one. I forgot what he missed. He did a pretty decent job. To me, Egypt, his voice is a little bit weak. He's a strong chef, but his voice is a little bit weak. I'm not saying he can't lead, but I don't think he's the best leader out of the four. Hannah, she did good, man. She impressed me. She did good. She did better than I thought she was gonna do. Um, she's got a pretty good, decent, strong voice. And yeah, like I said, I was expecting less, so that's why I'm impressed with her. Wit, I mean, Wit's been good. She has. Wit's been on point. She really, really has, man. And I thought she showed leadership. She's always kind of this person that's got this face like, don't mess with me, right? Rarely smiles, rarely laughs. She's kind of got like this mean attitude. And going to Kyle, again, Kyle he's in his wheelhouse, man. Kyle, I mean, Kyle's going to win. He's going to win it all unless he falls apart for whatever reason. But in my opinion, Kyle's going to win this competition because especially this episode and last episode, it's just Kyle just broke free, and it's just like it's the Kyle show. It really is. Hell's Kitchen this season has now turned into the Kyle show. He is just burning it up, man. But when it comes time to elimination, there was four. All right, nobody's voting for anything or anybody. Chef Ramsay's doing it because there's only four left. Now, this is where I this is where it gets a little controversial, but now I understand it. All right, because the first one to move on to the next round was Egypt, and I was like, "Whoa, really, Egypt?" I thought Kyle should have been the first one. I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? As long as you move on to the next round, it doesn't really matter who is the first one to get picked to move to the next round because you're all moving to the next round. But to me, it was just hands down. Kyle should have been the first one. But I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter, right? So Kyle's the first one to move on. I'm sorry, Egypt is. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, he should. He should move on to the next round, right? The second one to move on to the next round was Hannah. And I'm like, that is where I was slapping my forehead. Like, what? Because in reality, I was thinking, you know what? Hannah should be the one to go. Because out of the four that are there, I believe that Hannah's the weakest link. Even though she had a strong voice. But everything all together, you combine everything together, all their attributes, right? Everything that they need. I think she's the weakest link. That's not to say that she's weak, because she's a strong chef. But I thought she was gonna be the one to go, and I was like, whoa! So he's getting rid of either Wit or Kyle, and in my mind I'm going crazy. I'm like, there is no way you get rid of Kyle, no freaking way. Now Wit, let's get to Wit for a second, okay? Because Wit, and I've said this before. Wit can be a little bit of a child. She can. Now, she has probably been the best throughout this competition, and she points that out. And in a way, she's not lying. If I had to pick somebody who's been the best out of this competition, yeah, it probably will be her. Here's the thing that she fails to understand. What you did before doesn't matter anymore. What you did before got you to this moment. But all that matters now is this moment, not what you did before. What you did before only matters to where you're at now. What matters now is what you do now. You're not getting judged on like, well, you know what, man, you know, 2 weeks ago, oh man, she really killed it on that challenge. That doesn't matter anymore. So, yes, other chefs had made mistakes where you were flawless on other episodes, but that's not what you're getting judged on today. Today, you get judged on today, and that's what can cost you, especially when you're down to the last four. And I've been saying it over and over. I've said it a few times. Wit can be a child. She can pout. When she doesn't get it her way, she turns into like a little kid who's pouting. And that's exactly what happened at dinner service. And I'm sure Chef Ramsay has seen that and has said, you know what? This is a trend with her. She does not have her emotions in check. So when it came down to move on to the next round, guess who went home? Wit. And guess what Wit did? Guess what she did? She pouted. For the reason that she got sent home, she shows exactly, Chef Ramsay, you made the right choice by doing what Chef Ramsay is choosing for her to go home for. She walks up, gives him this like this little limp handshake, and walks away, just pouting like a little kid. Chef Ramsay has to say, like, hey, thank you for being nice. And then she comes back like, okay, I'll be a big person. All right, thank you so much. I'm sorry, chef. Thank you so much. But that's because Wit is constantly just thinking of the past. You gotta be on point now. And any little flaw, any little reason, any little hiccup can get you sent home. So we are down to the final three: Egypt, Hannah, and Kyle. And I believe it's going to be Egypt and Kyle. And unless Kyle, for one reason or another, loses focus or falls apart, to me, man, this is the Kyle show. Kyle's got this in the bag. Kyle can only defeat Kyle. And right now, Kyle's in the zone, Holmes. He is in the zone. So Hannah and Egypt, they're going to have to find something because Kyle's on the roll. And we'll see what happens. Cholo Trucker, M.A.S. Moves and Shows. Catch you guys on next one.